Hey everyone, this is Nick on Control Nick, and today I'm going to teach you how to lock cells in Excel in less than 5 minutes. This video is going to help you fix the issue that you probably are running into when you copy formulas around and run into the wrong answer. Let's go over to the workbook now to show you how to use Excel's cell locking functionality. All right, now we're in the workbook, and as you can see, there's 4 different examples here. I have cells B through D, which are the 4 different locking options that you have in Excel. And then columns F through H, those are just the reference table that we'll use for each of the different examples. So on your keyboard, you should be able to use F4 to lock. And what I mean about locking is when you click the equals symbol and then select a cell that you want to reference for a formula, once you click on F4 on your keyboard, you're going to see that these dollar signs appear. And what those dollar signs mean is that you've officially started locking a cell. But before I want to do that, I want to first show you what it means when fully unlocked and how that actually works in Excel. So I'm just going to do equal, and I'm going to reference the cell over here, F3, and then press enter. You can see that one populates, of course, but when I copy and paste for this whole table here, you can see that the fully unlocked table example that we have is now filled in with the exact same view as you have in the reference table to the right. Now, I'm going to go to the next table. When I do equal sign, and I'm going to select this number 1 again, and then press F4, now we're fully locked. What does that mean? When I press enter, and now I copy and paste this cell all the way to the bottom right corner and paste, it all sticks to the number 1. So the double dollar signs that you see in here means that this cell that you've referenced, which is in cell F8, has been fully locked. So when you copy and paste around a formula that's referencing cell F8, if it's fully locked, your formula is always going to lock into that cell. It's never going to move. So now let's go to the row lock table. I'm going to do equal sign in this cell B13, and then again, we're going to reference to this number 1 over to the right. So you can see F13 is the cell in reference. Now, again, if I click F4 just one time, all it's going to do is fully lock the cell. But if we select it again, you'll notice it removes a dollar sign, and now it's F $13. So what that means is that when you now copy over this cell, the rows are locked. Meaning in the reference table, you can see we're not showing the 1 and 4 and the 7 anymore. We're only showing 1, 2, and 3. Meaning when you do a double F4 selection on your keyboard, that means you're now only keeping unlocked the columns that you have for that cell reference. The last example is actually just doing a third selection of the F4 button on your keyboard to then lock the columns, meaning that the row is unlocked for that cell reference. So again, I'm going to do equal sign, select the number 1 over here on the right, F4, F4, F4. Now you can see the dollar sign for that reference cell is to the left of the column letter. So when I select enter, and now I copy and paste to the bottom right corner of that table, you can see now in the reference table, that 147, it's the only thing that's able to be copied and pasted over using that cell reference to the left. Again, because we've locked out the reference from moving columns, it can only move in rows. It's as simple as that. All right, let's give you a quick example. So in this tab here, we have 3 different tax rates, 4.5%, 6.5%, and 5.7%. And what you have are 3 different columns illustrating amounts associated with those tax rates. So for example, this column here are all amounts that are associated with this tax rate. Same thing with amount 2 is associated with tax rate 2, and amount 3 is associated with tax rate 3. And what I want to do in this box here is figure out what's the total tax associated with each of these amounts. If we do the unlocked reference for each of this formula, so I'm going to do B3 times B6, enter, and then copy and paste down. You'll notice that you get a bunch of random looking information because you haven't locked the references. So if I click into this cell here, D13, you'll notice that although the $60 reference is correct, the reference here, which should actually be at the tax rate, is not correct because you didn't lock that reference. So what I'm going to do is delete these formulas here, and let's do it again with locking the cell reference. So I'll do equal sign, select the 4.5%, and actually what we want to do is use the row locking functionality for that reference so that when you copy and paste over, it only copy and paste over with the columns without moving the rows of this. So I'm going to select on B3 F4 once, twice, and then we're good to go because now we've locked into row 3, even though we have columns unlocked. Multiplied by this $98, enter, and then we copy and paste that down. And now you can see that because we locked the cell reference, it perfectly aligns with the columns without being moved over in the rows section. Even though for D8, as you can see, we did not lock any reference, so it's multiplying that tax rate 3 by the amount 3 of $60. And that gives you a quick way to sum together all the taxes that go into each of those amounts. So in less than 5 minutes, you're now able to lock cells in Excel and do so in all 4 different functions to add extra versatility and smartness to your Excel workbook. As always, you can use the attachment that I put in the description if you want to follow along. Feel free to take a look at the other videos and Excel tutorials that I've created for you. Thank you so much for watching.